Welcome into our Locked On Sports coverage of the 2024 NBA trade deadline. And I got my guy here, Rylan Stiles of Locked On Thunder. And it's so interesting to me, Rylan, because it always seems like the rich get richer. And I'm going to invoke my guy, Jay-Z, again by saying, what's higher than number one? The Thunder are already at the top of their game, but it looks like they're shoring themselves up for a run at the postseason and want to get things even better. And that is why we found out just today that they are acquiring Gordon Hayward from the Hornets for Trey Mann and Davis Bertans, right? So what they get in Hayward, though, is a really good guy in terms of that veteran presence. And granted, he hasn't played in about a month and a half, so there's always the injury piece there that's a challenge, but you still get a lot out of him. 14 and a half points, almost 5 rebounds averaging per game before he went out, almost 5 assists, and a little bit of versatility and size on the wing. But when you heard about this particular acquisition, what were your thoughts about places where it could fortify this team?
Yeah, I think that when you look at Gordon Hayward, everything that he does well is something that the Thunder can get him going with it, which is like transition buckets. He's over a point per possession in transition. The Thunder love to get out and run. He finishes plays on cuts, 1.3 points per possession on cuts, and then he knocks down catch and shoot jumpers, 42% on catch and shoot, 52% on unguarded catch and shoot. Those are looks that the Thunder can routinely get for him with their drive-heavy offense, where they drive and kick with SGA, with J-Dub. And so the Thunder, while rebounding has been an issue, a bigger issue for them has been their dry spells, because they take that lack of rebounding and turn it into an advantage for them, going quick, getting out and running in transition. But whenever they go through these scoring lulls, that's what really causes them to lose games throughout this season. Gordon Hayward goes a long ways in stopping that and in surefying this offense. It's already top 3 in the NBA with those droughts. They can get even better off the bench. So Gordon Hayward, I think, overall just puts a bow on the rotation for the Thunder and really helps them solidify themselves for the last half of the season.
Yeah, and you talk about a guy in Hayward that's been on some teams like the Celtics, like the Hornets, that were really young but went on some runs. And winning is kind of new. Winning at this level for this Thunder team is kind of new. You've got a very young guy in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You've got a Chet Holmgren, who is like the veteran rookie, I'll call him. And then you've got Josh Giddey. So I think that's another piece there as well that could be very valuable for this OKC team. Someone who knows how to win, someone who knows how to go deep in the postseason, who can actually contribute, dare I say, on the court, but also off the court as well, and getting them ready for what they're about to potentially walk into.
Yeah, going all the way back to his college days, he's able to pull Butler to the Final Four, to the national title game. And then in the NBA, he's been able to do exactly what the Thunder are wanting to do. He's been able to be a part of teams that are led by sub-25-year-olds that go on massive runs to the Eastern Conference Finals in Boston in the bubble, and has been around what it takes for young teams to succeed and what it takes for young coaches to succeed. Mentioned Brad Stevens twice in his career that he's gone far with. And Mark, of course, does not have that experience either in these settings. So the Thunder are young from top to bottom. Just having someone who appears to be a very steady voice in a locker room can only help them in the future.
Indeed, indeed. Well, man, doing a lot of good things out there in OKC. Like I said, they have been playing lights out this entire season. This is one of those situations as well where you look at a Trey Mann, you look at a Davis Bertans, and do you feel like that is sort of an even swap, if you will, or do you kind of feel like advantage Thunder?
Yeah, I look at this trade and you see that the Thunder have given up, Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, and Vasilij Micic, and I think a second-round pick will be going as well to Charlotte. But whenever you really break it down, it sounds like a lot because of the sheer number of things we listed off for the Thunder giving to Charlotte. But Davis Bertans and Trey Mann did not factor into the rotation at all. Didn't play a single minute hardly in true games without garbage time. And then Vasilij Micic, he came around to the rotation in January, but he's still adjusting and adapting to the NBA style. And there's a lot of question marks of if he could play playoff basketball in the NBA, given the floor spacing is different, given his defensive limitations. So you gave away 3 guys who might not even factor in at all to your playoff rotation, along with a second-round pick of your 20 tradable second-round picks for a guy who you know for a fact, as long as he's healthy, will be in your playoff rotation, will help you close games, and will help you win big games. And if for some reason, as his injury history suggests, that he will not be able to finish the season or not be able to make an impact, you didn't give up anything important of your assets to do this. You gave up what you could afford to lose, and the reward for that is going to be someone who can legitimately close games for you in the playoffs.
Yeah, and two words that most teams love to hear: expiring contract. And like you said, with Micic coming over from Serbia and being a little bit older, maybe it's one of those situations where because he hasn't produced and they can get someone who likely can, as long as that body holds up for him, it works out in the Thunder's favor. So listen, I love when the Thunder come to town here in Atlanta. They are as exciting a team as it gets, and they're learning how to win. So I'm sure it is awesome and exciting for you to cover them as well. Check out Rylan at Locked On Thunder for all your OKC news and notes. And of course, we appreciate you guys for liking and subscribing each and every one of our podcasts. And don't forget that just like Locked On Thunder, we've got a whole bunch else in this network. Locked On Thunder is a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We will be back with more trade deadline news.